So I know it's been a while since I've posted anything. I've had a lot of things come up lately in my personal life, especially, and I plan on touching on that here in just a minute. I also wanted to talk about last week, which was a very important week for me. I was finally able to get a full body scan, something I've not been able to get since I was first diagnosed back in January. Typically, they've only ever scanned my lungs or my head and neck area. So this was definitely an important week, and I'll go over everything the doctor talked to me about and what the results were here in just a minute. I kind of wanted to just vent about a couple of things and also answer some questions. I guess I'll start with why I'm wearing this mask. My son is actually laying here sick beside me. Unfortunately, he has the flu right now. Bad time of year to get the flu. We're hoping he feels a little bit better later so we can go trick-or-treating. He had to miss his little Halloween party today at school, so it's definitely just been a long day for him. I'm starting to feel a little bit sick, but I'm not sure that I am sick, so I'm trying to wear this mask just to make double sure that I don't end up getting sick from him. I wanted to touch on a few things that I've been asked about and just a few things that I wanted to talk about. So me and my wife did try to get back together for about 3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, all the way up until right after I left the hospital, basically. We are now no longer together, and I won't get into detail about everything, but it just didn't work out. So I'm kind of back to square one when it comes to my mentality on things and how everything's been going. Honestly, I'd say this chapter of the year is definitely harder than any chapter that came before it. This entire year of 2022 has just been craziness after craziness, It just feels like it's just a lot that just keeps piling up on my plate, and I'm not sure when it's going to stop. I'm doing things to stay positive and to keep my energy level up. I've been working out. I've been going to the gym. I'm starting to feel and look much better physically for sure. My face is starting to look a little bit better, starting to look more and more like myself. Not there all the way, but it's definitely getting there. It's definitely better than it has been in a long time. I've met a lot of new friends and a lot of new people that have been very supportive towards me, and I also appreciate everyone's support on here. I really do. Anyway, I don't want to make it sound like I'm complaining too much. I really try hard not to. I just kind of wanted to vent a little bit. But back to last week. So last week was a very important scan. I don't know if anybody's ever had a PET scan before. It's definitely a little bit better than a 45-minute MRI scan with all those loud noises that you have to sit there and listen to. I'd say the biggest problem of it was waiting for that contrast to run through me. I basically had to wake up. I couldn't eat or drink anything, and it took me like an hour to get there. I'm a big breakfast person. When I wake up, I have to eat something and I have to drink something. Otherwise, I just don't feel like I have any energy, so that was definitely challenging. When I finally get there, they give me an IV, and it's got this contrast stuff in it that has to sit in me for like an hour. That way it can go all the way through my body. Then I finally get to go to the machine after about an hour and 15 minutes. And this scan was to show everything in my body from my head to the top of my thighs, basically. So after the scan, I had to give them a few hours to read the results and go over everything. So my next appointment wasn't set up until like 2 o'clock that afternoon. And I got done with the PET scan at like 9:30. So I had a couple hours to kill, so I just drove around a little bit, trying not to be so nervous. So I didn't know what to expect, honestly. My last visit to the hospital kept hyping me up, thinking that the infection I had was from some kind of reoccurrence. So I was already prepared for the worst. There was a lot going on through my mind, and then finally I'm able to go back to see Dr. Meek, who was going to go over my results. I go wait in the waiting room. It takes them like 15 extra minutes past my appointment time to finally come and get me. This whole time I'm sitting there just twiddling my thumbs. We go to the back room. I get weighed. I get my blood pressure checked. Everything's fine. My oxygen level is great. We go back there. I talked to one of the nurses up there about how I've been feeling since my treatment, how everything's been going. She said I scored really high on the depression test, which I didn't even really realize. It was just a simple questionnaire. And she just kind of asked how things were going. So I told her about the separation with me and my wife and everything surrounding it. And I think they wanted to try to set me up with talking to a therapist maybe. But honestly, that's just not really something I've ever been comfortable with doing, just talking one-on-one to something. It's just not how I vent. It's just not something that I want to do. I realize there are plenty of people that works for, and that's great. But for me, I just feel awkward about it. So anyway, after she leaves, she goes and gets Dr. Meek, and I swear it feels like it takes him forever to finally get in there. And then once he gets in there, he does a small physical exam on me. He looks at my face to make sure everything's still fine. He examines my mouth, my ears, my nose, everything that would have been affected somehow by radiation. So from the time he got in there, I'm sitting here sweating bullets, and it takes him another 15 to 20 minutes to just tell me what the results of this scan were. The most important scan I could possibly have. And finally, after an eternity, it feels like, he goes over the results for me, and everything is great. My lymph nodes looked a little swollen, but it's probably because I'm possibly getting sick with whatever my son has. But he said nothing looks suspicious, and he said I'm about as healthy as you could possibly be for my age and for everything that has happened this year. So it was definitely a big week with some great news for sure as far as my health goes. I really honestly couldn't feel better. And like I said, I've been exercising a lot lately, which I think really helps keep me motivated and helps keep a positive attitude with everything. So once again, I know I haven't uploaded lately, but I just wanted to update everybody on what my test results were. I really appreciate everybody watching this video. I'm sorry if it sounded like I was complaining too much in this. Sometimes I just feel like I need to get things off my chest and vent a little bit. I try not to do it too much, but sometimes I really feel like it's necessary just to continue moving forward. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope everyone has a great Halloween.